Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And if you're a regular to this channel, then you know, and if you're not, make sure you smack that bell and subscribe button. But if you are a regular, then you know we document each and every day how the globalist world order is really crumbling right before our very eyes. And in many ways, nowhere are we seeing this more clearly than in the world of health and medicine. That's so often, unfortunately, the globalists' number one weapon of choice for manipulation. But as it turns out, the joke's on them. As we speak, the US military is actually sending out letters in mass, effectively apologizing for the forced COVID injections and pleading with those who were driven out of service because they refused to comply with those mandates. They're now begging them to come on back now that the mandates have been done away with. And not only that, but we now have reports that big pharma is hemorrhaging revenue. So, for example, Pfizer recently they reported their very first quarterly loss since 2019. And we're talking massive losses. Shares for Pfizer are down nearly 40% for the year. To talk about this extraordinary turn of events, I'm joined by my good friend, investor, and food scientist, Clint Winters, who's already helped thousands of you Turley talkers out there overcome chronic pain without selling your body and soul to big pharma and the medical industrial complex. So, Clint, welcome back. Great to see you again, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, based on your experience, with veterans who are suffering from chronic pain, I mean, what do you think of all these latest developments here? These efforts to walk back on the failures of big pharma. Do you think they're ever going to get regain the public's trust at this point?
I mean, it's tough, right? I don't see it. I think that the facts speak for themselves. I mean, we were told so many things during COVID, and we were told that the vaccine is the only thing that can help you. Like, don't worry about vitamins, don't worry about minerals, don't worry about other things that have you know years and years and years, hundreds of years of clinical proof. Don't worry about that. The vaccine's coming; it will save you. And then, well, okay, I took the vaccine, but you might get a breakthrough case, and then you might have, you've taken the booster, and it might happen. It's like, wait a minute, so the vaccine doesn't actually work? I thought it worked, and no, then what? There's no restrictions or worry about a lawsuit or whatever if anything went wrong with it. It was just it was mired in a lot of very fishy stuff. So I think when you partner that with the stats we have now as far as how it actually worked, which was not great, and then the fact that how it was forced down our throat, not just the military but the American population,
Yeah.
I think we've all had enough. I mean, it's just enough.
Yeah.
We're to that point, and it's really kind of, that was for me the real shining point as far as like big pharma's true colors. Like, you saw them actively suppress other things, go to make their money, at the expense of hardworking Americans, without any real science behind it. It's just kind of like, hey, here's something, you can't do anything about it. Take it because we're telling you to take it. And by the way, we're going to make billions of dollars. And I think now people are pulling back.
That's right. That's right. Well, that was the refrain. We're following the science. I believe the science. I believe the science. But in the end, it was more profits, profits, profits.
It
And
was.
I agree with you 1,000%. Just it wasn't even, I had no problem, quite frankly, with the vaxes and so forth. But it was the act of suppression. It was the act of, no, no,
Yes.
no, this is the only way. And if you go any other way, we're going to call you a kook and we're going to demonetize you and deplatform. That was odd. That was strange. And
It
when you
was.
see, yeah, then when you see the profits at the end of the rainbow there, yeah,
And like I've said, I've been on the show before, and I've said I don't have a problem with pharmaceuticals.
right,
There's a need in our society for pharmaceuticals, no doubt. There's things that are life saving out there, no argument about that. What I have a problem with is not looking at all the options,
right,
and
right,
basically calling every option other than the drug nonsense, because that's not true. It's
right.
it's not true from a clinical standpoint. There's, like I said, decades and decades of clinical science around natural solutions. They're
Yes,
just as powerful and effective, that get downplayed, and they
right.
shouldn't get downplayed. You and me and everyone as an American should have the ability to look at everything at par value and make a choice for what we want to do with our lives. And it's not fair that the natural side gets suppressed. And that's why I've essentially dedicated my life to getting that information out there, is because I've seen it time and time again, and I'm trying to make a difference in that regard.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It is. It's fascinating how what you're doing fits in perfectly with this whole notion of informed consent and the morality of it. I mean, you're an expert in pain relief. We feature your product every week on a CB2, which is wonderful on our channel. It is also the official pain reliever of the UFC, which everybody loves. You've been running Winners Biotechnology for over a decade now. You focus, of course, on the worldwide distribution of provenly effective natural remedies for all sorts of ailments and issues. But in the end, what I find so amazing, Clint, you're one guy. And in the end, I'm still blown away how in the end did one guy seem to make a more tangible contribution to world health and pain relief than these multi-gazillion dollar conglomerate corporations.
I think it was the inspiration behind it. This is very personal to me. I have a couple different stories that have driven me along the way. My first story is the fact that I used to weigh 350 pounds. I was, one burrito away from a heart attack.
Wow.
I kind of say that jokingly, but that's where I was. I was really, really, really in bad shape. My cholesterol was high, my blood sugar was high, my blood pressure was high, and I had to fight my way back. And I had to use my knowledge and go the natural route to find natural solutions that would give me the tools and the weapons to get my health back in order to sit now at 41 years old in the best shape of my life. And then, of course, I've told you extensively about my mom, who was the inspiration behind canola. I watched her suffer with cancer pain, which affects so many people in our country. And there's very little hope. And of course, the only thing that was prescribed was morphine. So she's on morphine, and the biggest thing that hurt our family was she was taken from us months before she actually passed. Because
Right.
once you go on drugs like that, you're a zombie.
Right.
And when I saw that, I was like, there has to be other solutions that are out there, and that's what created the deep dive that led to canola. And canola is a classic example of how I feel we should be treating healthcare in this country. Canola actually allows your body's natural endorphin flow to operate at its highest level, regardless of your age. So back when you used to be out of pain, like when you're 5 or 6 years old, you fall down, you bang your knee, you wouldn't even think about it 5 minutes later. At 40 or 50, 60, you fall and hurt your knee. It could be the rest of your life you feel it. That's because of
Wow.
your endorphin flow. Canola does something very simple, even though it's a dynamic product, and that is simply enhances your endorphin flow in the brain, your natural painkillers. It brings that system back up to where it should be. So again, you're maintenancing what your body already does, and that allows you to stay out of the medical system. That's our whole goal with Winters Biotech, is to give people the tools to stay out of the system. And once you get into big pharma and hospitals, and pills lead to more pills and more side effects, and before you know it, you have this giant pill jar like my grandparents with all the stuff they got to take every day. So our goal is to fight against that, give you solutions early, so you can maintain your heart, maintain your brain, maintain your muscles, maintain your joints, maintain your pain relief ability, all those things that you are meant to be able to keep for years and years and years, and we just kind of give up on as a society because that's what we're told to do.
Right. Right. Yeah, and it fits. We've talked about this before. It fits so well as well in the out of control opioid addiction crisis that's arisen over the
Yes.
last few years. I mean, so your most well known product is, that I know of, is the canolidine that you're
Yep.
talking about, canolidine, which we featured in this Kana CB2, used by the UFC fighters to manage their pain naturally. And as far as I can tell, this really is a key answer to the opioid crisis.
I
Yeah,
really believe it is. Yes.
can you flesh that out a little bit for us?
Absolutely. So, the big thing with the opioid crisis is realize that it was created because these short-term pain relievers were over prescribed. So they were never supposed to be a long-term solution.
Right.
Oxy was never supposed to be you take Oxy for the rest of your life. It was supposed to be you got in a car wreck, your back is jacked up for 2 weeks, you need to take something to get you over that hump. That's what it's always supposed to be. But that's not what happened. People
Right.
were on it for years and years and years, and they're highly, highly addictive. And the problem is when you're artificially stimulating your pain relief receptors like that, once you go off the meds, you're going to be in worse pain than you've ever been in your entire life because your body needs it now. It's begging you for it.
Right.
It's an ad.
Right.
Your pain receptors are now the addicts
Right.
calling you to get some sort of relief. So people that are getting cut off these meds, they're going to heroin. They're going to other hardcore street drugs just to try to get some sort of relief. So you're taking, again, a hardworking American that was, just a family man a few years ago and got into a car accident, got prescribed the wrong thing, and now the guy's on the street as a drug addict. Like, it's just mind blowing. Canola has fought against that because, again, it's restoring your body's natural ability to relieve pain. And Steve,
Right.
we've had, story after story after story after story of just, other Americans that were on fentanyl, that were on oxy, that were on morphine, that were on all these crazy painkillers, are able to finally get off. I mean, we've had people that literally have written me and said, we're going to, like, they were contemplating suicide. Like, they were
Yeah.
literally like, I have nothing else to live for. If I go off drugs, I'm going to be in pain. I don't want to be in pain. If I stay on drugs, I'm an addict. I don't want to do it to my family. Maybe it's time to hit the reset button. And I'm like, so when people write me
Wow.
going, Canolidine saved my life, is crazy. And so many of your listeners now that we've been, working with you, getting the word out about Canolidine, because again, Canolidine is only available through GDR Labs, and Winters, Biotechnology is a firm that created it. We are the pioneer of it. Does not exist outside of us, which is awesome. So we're spreading the word, and
Yeah.
so many of your loyal listeners are spreading the word with us. And
Yeah.
because anyone who's dealing with pain needs to experience what it does for them, because it truly is a solution to everyday aches and pains, chronic pain. It's truly an amazing substance.
And it's not a drug, right? That's why it works with the UFC fighters, right? So UFC
Correct.
fighters can manage pain, but drug free.
Correct. So that's a great point. So athletes obviously has to go through strenuous drug testing when it comes to different substances they put in their body before any sort of athletic event. And UFC is one of the toughest out there. So Canoladine Cono CB2 fully complies with WADA plus 400 other banned substances. So
Wow.
it's purely a
Wow.
natural alkaloid. It won't show up on any drug tests. It's not a banned ingredient. You can get on a plane with it. You can carry it to any country you want to use it. You never have to be without it because it's not illegal anywhere because it's not a drug. It's just a plant. It's
Right.
part of the crepe jasmine plant. The difference for us is we've taken it, and with my dual polar extraction method, we've been able to extract the canoladine into a concentrated liquid format to make it extremely powerful, but in a natural, non-synthesized format.
Yeah, a supplement in many respects, is it
It
not?
is. It is.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a supplement, and it's really the world's first daily use pain relief supplement, because
Right.
that's the one question we get is, hey, how do you take this stuff? You don't really take it like an aspirin
Right.
or
Right.
any other painkiller. It's every day, because
It's a
every day
day.
you're
Right.
priming.
Yeah.
It's awesome that way. Even if you're someone that's not in pain now but knows that you end up getting aches and pains as you work out more, get more active, you start taking it, and you take it every day like you take your heart supplement, your brain supplement, your lung supplement, anything else you're taking. You just add it into your regimen, and now you have the first ever in the world daily pain relief supplement, which has been awesome for hundreds of thousands of people now.
Absolutely, especially guys who are getting pummeled in their
Yeah,
faces. I
yeah,
I just love I just the image of that, the UFC fighter, and this is what they do to manage their pains. It's just so it's
it's
perfect.
that powerful. It's really that powerful.
It is, it is. To kind of wrap it up here, big picture,
Yeah,
there are reports that Steve Kirsch is preparing to reveal some big news regarding vaccine deaths at MIT in the next few weeks. There's been a Japanese report out with comparable data. I just read a CDC report that life expectancy has been decreasing, I believe, 2 years in a row here in the United States, both in men and women. With the loss of so much trust, they call it delegitimation, with the loss of so much trust and confidence in our medical system in many respects. What do you suggest? How do we break free from that loss in confidence and find a new sense of trust and confidence and the restoration of optimism in our health again?
So that's a great question. Remember this: our current healthcare system is built around helping you once you're sick. So
Mhm.
really, to me, the solution is simple. It's start to do things
Right.
to prepare yourself to not get sick. Like that's my whole goal personally is I don't want to. Yes, I go to the doctor for my checkup so I know my levels, and there's nothing wrong with going and making sure you know where you stand health wise. But I'm doing everything I can from diet, exercise, supplementation, anything that I learn and use personally and then give to the world is to keep myself and those I know healthy so they don't have to go down the trap of pills and medical treatments and all these things that kind of get you caught up as you get older in age. So I would say that's the biggest key is start doing things now. It's not, I don't care if you're 30, 40, 50 years old, it's not too late. I mean,
Right.
I was able to change my life. So many people around me have changed their life. It's easier than you think.
Yeah.
It just takes understanding the information, knowing what's out there, knowing the data that exists, things you can use to boost all the major areas of your body. And when you do that, you can keep yourself out of the ER. You can keep yourself out of, the terrible pill cycle of now all
Yeah.
these side effects and everything else. Keep yourself out of that as long as you can. So the answer is do something now. Start
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
because you don't want to wait. Because once you get into the system, it's really, really hard to get back out of it. And I've
Yeah.
seen far too many Americans work their entire lives to finally get to a point where they can retire and start to enjoy their life. And then they get sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once they get sick,
Yeah.
now they're in that whole
Then the
realm of
cycle. Yeah.
world. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
not able to enjoy what they've been waiting and building their whole life to enjoy. And
That's
that's
right.
why canola I think is such an important installation. And I know, like I said, we've always worked with you and your
Yeah.
listeners, and we're doing the same thing again today. We're going to reactivate your special link. That way, your listeners can get a very, very special price. It's going to be right down in the comments. Again,
Awesome.
I encourage anyone
Yeah.
that hasn't tried canola to try it. If anyone knows someone in pain, share the link with them because it is the future of pain relief. And it's the exact thing we're talking about today, which is preemptively getting ahead of something that could be a major problem in the healthcare system down the road. Preemptively take care of your pain. If you're in pain now, get out of pain using something natural. It's helping, like I said, thousands and thousands of people, soon to be millions. I've said this before, and it's trending that way that I think over the next 2 years, canola will be just as well known as aspirin, CBD, anything else that's used for pain. It's the real deal. It's growing every day, and it's so exciting to see it help so many
It
people.
is. It is, and it's so exciting to have you on the channel. It's sort of the ground floor of this. It's absolutely wonderful. Again, click on that link in the description below. End your pain, chronic or not, the natural way. Condo CB2 in particular, but all of Clint's products. When you click on that link, you'll see they're all amazing. So click on that link, and like Clint said, be preventative here. Don't wait till you get sick. Be proactive. Be preventative, and take action. Thanks so much, Clint. You're awesome, man. We'll have you back real soon.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Great seeing you.
Great seeing you.